All right, what is going on, everybody? How is everybody doing today? Welcome back here today to another extra SROS video. Yeah, a little bit different of a setup here for me. I'm currently at home or not in my Philly apartment. So today I wanted to talk about Cade Cunningham, and I kind of wanted to make this video yesterday, right after their win over the Utah Jazz. This was right after another exceptional Cade Cunningham fourth quarter performance. Jalen Duren is just turning into a monster rebounder, a monster pick and roll artist with Cade Cunningham this year. And I will say, like, people will change their minds so quickly into the season, and rightfully so. We actually are seeing these teams play. But as somebody that talks about these teams so much in the offseason, a lot of people were skeptical about the Detroit Pistons because last year they didn't have expectations to make the playoffs. They make the playoffs, and not only do they lose in round one, which is fine, but they went out with like they were swinging, right? Like they lose to the Knicks in six, and most of actually all those games were relatively close. So they even had even I think the largest loss was game one, and they had like a double digit lead in the third quarter or something close to that. And I was like, okay, this offseason maybe wasn't as aggressive as I would have thought. They were treating maybe Jaden Ivey coming back as like a big acquisition. We know what happened with Malik Beasley, and that really wasn't in their control. Maybe there is a chance Malik Beasley is a Detroit Piston at some point this year. Who knows? I don't want to think like that just because the odds of that do seem very low. So they bring in Duncan Robinson and a sign and trade with the Heat. Simone Fontecchio goes to Miami. Feels like a win-win trade so far. And then you also bring in Karis LeVert in free agency because you lose Dennis Schroeder. You kind of need somebody that can be like a secondary creator with Cade Cunningham at times this year. But when I was looking at this team, they didn't have a first round pick. I was like looking at the rest of the Eastern Conference. I'm like, I definitely like Orlando over them. I did have Detroit to finish ahead of Atlanta in my regular season standings, but if they played against each other in the playoffs, definitely like Atlanta. I like Detroit, I think, over Milwaukee as well. So I was definitely a little bit higher, I think, on Detroit than the consensus, but still low overall just because can you bank so much on internal development? I think I've just been so excited about teams in the past that do that, and it just doesn't come to fruition. But in 2026 so far, 8 games into the season, the Pistons have banked on internal development, and it's been working out. Cade Cunningham so far this year, 24.5 points, 9.5 assists. He's shooting 43% from the field, 30% from three, 75% from the free throw line, like maybe a little bit below average efficiency. With the volume he's providing you, I don't care. It's like the Trae Young effect from last year. Like the guy maybe will have a below true shooting percentage, but with his volume and the way he can carry this team in the fourth quarter, I could care less. Like Cade does have a 53% true shooting right now. It's a little bit below league average, but you look at what he's done in the fourth quarter, he's going to be rivaling maybe Shai Gilgeous-Alexander as the clutch player of the year here in 2026. Back-to-back games against Memphis and Utah where he's had double-digit points in the fourth quarter, and he just looks calm, cool, running this offense like a veteran. And I know he's going into year number 5. Like this isn't year 2 Cade Cunningham anymore, year 3 Cade Cunningham, where he would kind of struggle, dumb turnovers late in the clock. Also didn't really have any help around him. But right now, going back to the internal development, it's not just Cade Cunningham, it's Jalen Duren, who's averaging 18 points, 11.5 rebounds this year, and he's still 21 years old. Like, I want to pull up Jalen Duren's birthday. I think he turns 22 very soon. Yeah, he turns 22 in about 11 days. But the fact that he's 21 years old going into year four right now, that is crazy. He was the youngest player in that 2022 draft class. I thought it was criminal that he fell that late when he did. If you watched any of my draft content back then, I was a big fan of Ivy and Duren. I was a big fan of the Pistons draft class as a whole. And those two, I mean, you're on year 4 of your connection. You're going to build chemistry. You're going to build timing on alley-oops. You're going to build just kind of the relationship that you want between a point guard and center duo. Yes, veterans like Brunson and Cat can play with each other in their first year, and they're going to figure itself out, right? Like, they are seasoned pros. But I think Cade and Jalen Duren having this dynamic together for 4 years is going to be crucial, not just in the regular season, but also in the playoffs. And I thought Jalen Duren was one of the better Pistons in the playoffs last run. He was maybe like the third best Piston on that team. If you want to say Cade was one, maybe Malik Beasley was really inconsistent. Like Dennis Schroeder was solid, but he also was inconsistent. Like Duren might have actually been the second best Piston in that playoff series. Asari Thompson also taking a little bit of a leap this year. I don't think that's really shocking to anybody given that this is year 3. Very encouraging rookie season, but it gets cut short, right? He has like the blood clot scare, and then that kind of eliminated a summer league in the offseason of 2024, so he doesn't get like a proper ramp up last year, and he still looked the part. He still looked like his brother. He's his twin brother, right? Like, they share the same athleticism out there, and Asar looks great this year as a cutter, slasher, finishing around the rim. His physicality, his rebounding is still off the charts. 7 rebounds a night, 14 points this year, 3.5 assists. Tobias Harris has actually been like pretty bad this year. You kind of need him to knock down threes. You kind of need him to just hit the mid-range jumpers. They're not falling whatsoever this year. He's been pretty bad around the rim as well. Isaiah Stewart, I didn't even know with confidence he was going to be on this team going into this year, but Isaiah Stewart also feels like somebody that's hitting a little bit of an offensive leap. Maybe it's not a leap, and maybe he's just kind of going back to what he was in 23 and 24. Last year, I don't know if it was like his first year in JB Bickerstaff's system. I don't know, like Pistons fans can attest to this, like more so just him never getting playing time over Tobias, Jalen Duren. Like, you're looking at the bigs last year. I mean, it was like B-Ball Paul that's on this roster, right? At some point this year, because they had to get above like the salary cap floor. You're looking at, yeah, like just Tobias Harris in the front court. Like, I'm looking at the roster from last year, Fontecchio, a little bit of Wendell Moore action. Like, I don't know why Isaiah Stewart didn't play as much as he did last year. It was weird that the minutes kind of just drastically dropped. Like, I get he wasn't going to play 31 minutes like he did in 24, given they added Tobias Harris. But the fact that he went down to 19 felt a little bit low. He did play 72 games. He only started 4 of them. This year, it's back up to 25 minutes. And I think Stewart has looked like he did in 23, 24. And I'll say that I love Jalen Duren in the 22 draft class. I was not a big fan of Isaiah Stewart coming out of Washington. I did not think he was going to be able to space the floor whatsoever at the NBA level, and I was wrong in 2023. Well, he didn't really shoot the ball that well in 23, but 24 he did. Last year, he didn't really take any threes. This year, though, Isaiah Stewart is knocking down 39% of his threes on about 3.5 a night. He's averaging 11.5 points, 7 rebounds. It's just like the physical bruiser you want down low, because not only is he going to set a good screen on the perimeter, he can play out of the short roll, and he also can pick and pop now, because he's kind of going back to his 2024 ways in terms of his three-point shooting, which is massive for the Detroit Pistons this year, who were projected to win around like 43, 44 games, and you were wondering, will they be able to reach that after the offseason they had? They won 44 games last year. Do you think they got better? I knew Cade Cunningham could take a leap this year, but I will say that they're getting production out of just all the young pieces, which is very encouraging. And this is without Jaden Ivey. Like, when Jaden Ivey goes down before the season starts, and I watched that first game against the Bulls, I am worried that this team is not going to be able to create any offense when Cade Cunningham is not on the floor. And Cade Cunningham is playing 36 minutes a night. It's not like he's playing Tyrese Maxey 40 plus minutes a night right now. So they're able to rely on Cade, who's turning the ball over 3.5 times a night. That's fine. With the high usage guys like that you're going to live with 3.5 turnovers any day of the week. So Cade, Duren, Asar Thompson, Stewart, all kind of taking some type of leap from last year. Maybe Cade hasn't taken that scoring leap just yet, but I think it's going to come. I think we're going to get like a crazy 20-game stretch from Cade Cunningham in like December, January, where this guy is like, okay, we're already having the top 10 talks. Maybe he can be more than that. Ron Holland is also another player that, if you guys followed my draft content, I loved. In the 24 class, I was banking on the athleticism. I kind of realized I was wrong about the Thompson twins and their evaluation. I mean, you try to watch any of the overtime elite games, I was not ready for that. It is a completely different game. I am watching that. I don't even know what the hell I'm watching. They're making up their own rules on the fly. And I think I didn't put too much like value into just the sure athleticism from Asar and Amen. So I loved Ron Holland's athleticism. I said, you know what? It's a weird 24 class. Just kind of latch onto his athleticism, the defensive intensity, the transition running. And if you really like the team that he gets drafted to, just ride that he's your number 2 pick or number 2 prospect in your draft. And that's what he was for me. And Holland this year, 10 points might not be like, whoa, that's crazy. I think he impacts the game so much more than the box score shows because of his defensive intensity. I hate keep making the Asar and Men parallels, but the Terra twins of the Eastern Conference is Asar and Ron Holland. Maybe they're not as good as Amen and Tari Eason, because Eason is a little bit along or further along than Holland. He was drafted 2 years prior, but I think Holland has looked really good so far this year off the bench for the Pistons. Really provides like spark plug energy. Him and Isaiah Stewart, 2 guys you do not want to mess with. They will try to face you up. We saw that last year, and Holland honestly showed that intensity briefly in the playoffs as well. So the young guys have actually been stepping up, which is crazy. Now, Duncan Robinson, slower start. He's now shooting his 40% from 3, which you take. That's what you're paying him for, and that's what they desperately need. Like, Detroit was not a good 3-point shooting team a couple years ago. You add in Malik Beasley, you add in Tim Hardaway Jr., and now you could feel the floor spacing around Cade Cunningham. And right now, they're getting that. They're still not like the best three-point shooting team in the world, especially with Tobias being a negative from three. Asar can't really shoot from three still right now, and he's barely taking them. But Duncan Robinson, 40% from three, encouraging. That's what you need. Honestly, kind of cares a little bit defensively. Like, he's not like the best defender in the world, but I do appreciate him like running his ass off when he's playing off ball, and maybe it's somebody going off some flare action screens or something like that. And then Caris LeVert has probably been pretty disappointing, given that it was a 2-year guaranteed contract, $14 million per year. The role he was going to have on this team, he's played about 19 minutes. He's averaged about 6.2 points per game. Yeah, he has not looked like the same ISO creator maybe we saw in Cleveland, maybe the same creator we saw in Atlanta. We're definitely kind of far removed from the Indiana Brooklyn days. So I do wonder what LeVert's role is going to be throughout the year. It's always a new system. It's 8 games into a new team. He could definitely figure it out. We've seen bad starts all the time from new acquisitions, and they end up putting it together. But I think it's just something to definitely keep an eye on going forward. I also think he's not played a lot this year, but he was good in summer league and preseason. But Danis Jenkins has honestly looked pretty good. I wonder if he'll get like a larger role throughout the year. And I like Chaz Lanier coming out of Tennessee, but those guys really haven't played a ton this year. And when you look at like the Pistons schedule, I think there's like not like some fraudulent schedules, but you look at like, I don't know, Minnesota's 4 wins, like Portland's their only good win. Philadelphia's like 5 wins. There's some okay teams in there, but there's not like a statement win. Like their statement win, Boston and I think Orlando, but how does that look now, right? Detroit's schedule has been pretty good. Like they ended up losing to Chicago first game. I guess that looks like a better loss right now. They lost by 4. Definitely could have won that game. They couldn't hit a shot in like the second and third quarters. Then they beat Houston by 4. That's a damn impressive win right now because Houston is playing like one of the best teams in the NBA. You beat Boston by 6. Good win, nothing special though. And then you end up you lose to Cleveland by a decent amount. Cleveland's still a good team at the end of the day. That's going to come. You don't barely beat Orlando, you beat them by 19. Yeah, that is an impressive win in my opinion, beating Orlando by 19. Because that team is still going to give you fight defensively. I know Orlando has their offensive issues right now, but they're a good defensive team. You beat Dallas by 12. You beat Memphis by 8. You beat Utah by 11. I'm not saying this is the toughest schedule that they played so far, but I do think it has been impressive to start off the season. They have Brooklyn coming up, like that should be a win. Philadelphia, Washington, Chicago. Like I'm looking at their schedule right now. Wow. Yeah, they play. Okay, so Brooklyn win. Philly could be a win, but like that's maybe 50-50 right now. Washington should be a win. Chicago could be a win. Like they lost by 4 to them earlier in the year, and they're at home in this one. Philly again. You think they're going to split? Indiana, they should win. Atlanta, they could win at Atlanta. Well, that will be tough. At Milwaukee will be tough. Indiana, Boston, Orlando, Miami, Atlanta, Milwaukee, Portland, Milwaukee, Dallas. Like the next time they play like a top 5 team in the league, maybe isn't until December 30th if you think the Lakers are that good. Like they have a very nice schedule coming up where we could be sitting here in a month from now. Detroit's got 10 games above 500. Like I wouldn't be totally shocked looking at their schedule right now and where they could be going forward. So far on the year, though, they have been great defensively, which has always been like the JB Bickerstaff identity. And I think that's going to be kind of their mantra throughout the year, relying on defense because they're not, the best offensive team. They're a below average offensive team this year. But I think it's all going to come together. They're going to get some easy defensive opponents. They're going to get like that run from Cade Cunningham, like I talked about. And we're eventually going to get Jaden Ivey back. I mean, right now, he went under that procedure and it's going to be reevaluated in 4 weeks. And that was on October 16th. So next week, we should get an update on Jaden Ivey. I'm hoping he's playing a game before 2025 is over. I can't say with confidence that that's going to happen. But this team also is going to have maybe, I don't know, a little, not like pressure, but like maybe a little bit more willingness to make a move at the deadline. Like last year, they ended up getting Dennis Schroeder for basically free, which was great for them. And honestly, I love that. Maybe they're going to go bargain hunting like that again. But I do think that this team could get a little bit aggressive at the deadline. Like, will they be willing to part ways with Caris LeVert's $14 million after December 15th? I would. I think you'd still be 6-2 without Caris LeVert. Could they be willing to trade away Jaden Ivey? His value definitely goes down a little bit, though, just because he's a restricted free agent at the end of the year. Back-to-back notable injuries. Would a team give up a willing asset? I'm sure some team would give up like a veteran asset that can help you, but I don't know if you're like, could this team be a Lowry Markkanen team, right? I jokingly tweeted that out in their first game against Chicago. I think this team makes a lot of sense for Markkanen, but Markkanen, does he fit into their defensive identity? And do you want to trade? I mean, if you're trading Tobias Harris, Jaden Ivey, Karis LeVert and 2 to 3 first-round picks for Markkanen, I'd probably do that. Markkanen's under contract. It's Detroit. They're not going to land big market free agents, or at least they haven't really in the past. You have Cade locked up. You're going to lock up Jalen Duren after the season he's having. You're going to lock up a star eventually when he's a free agent. Stewart's still under contract going forward. You don't have to trade him. And like the only noticeable minutes getter out of those guys, Ivy hasn't even played. Karis LeVert's not playing a ton. And Tobias Harris would just get replaced by Lauri Markkanen, and you're trading first-round picks you hope are going to be pick 20 and on. So I think that makes a ton of sense. The question is, would Utah want to do that? Could they just get a better offer from like a San Antonio or a Miami or just a different team out there that could look to trade for Markkanen? Possibly, because I'm not really willing to give up a Sar, Holland, or Duren for Markkanen, and I think they wouldn't as well. So they're going to be a team that I think monitor this year around the deadline if they're going to want to be aggressive this year. But hey, it's a good start. You got to be encouraged right now if you're a Pistons fan. And yeah, like just going back to Cade Cunningham, I just think that I was never like out on Cade Cunningham. I think one of my best like takes that I stood on was I never removed him number 1 from a 2021 redraft. Not after year 1, where he didn't win Rookie of the Year and it went to Scotty Barnes. Not after year 2, where he barely played and had a season-ending injury. Not after the start of year 3, where he kind of struggled a little bit and he was struggling with the turnovers. He was struggling with efficiency. And last year, he finished 7th in MVP voting. He was on All-NBA third team. He led the Pistons from the worst record in 2024 to a top 6 seed and a hard-fought playoff series loss to the New York Knicks. And I do think he's a fringe top 10 player in the league. Like I said, I would like to see the three-point shot be a little bit better like it was last year. Turnovers were high last year. It was 4.5 a night. I know the advanced numbers don't favor Cade in that aspect, and there's things he definitely needs to work on. Not saying he's a perfect player by any means. I think there's some dumb passes out of the pick and roll still that he's still trying to figure out and kind of trying to just hone in on, which, hey, we're on year 5 of that. Maybe it's never going to come around, but this guy was drafted number 1 overall for a reason. You can have him at a 30+% usage rate. Like right now this year, I mean, is he above 30? Yeah, he's at 30 right now, basically. He's been above or at 30 over the last 4 years. He's somebody that can be a number 1, in my opinion, on a title team at this moment. Because we don't really know if that's not true. Maybe this, like, is Ja Morant 2022 all over again. You ask somebody in 22, can Ja Morant be a number 1 on a title team? They're saying, hell yeah. You ask that question today, they're saying no. So maybe we're going to eventually get there one day with Cade Cunningham. I also like Cade Cunningham as a prospect more than I like Ja Morant. So, hey, we're still wait and see mode. He's only played 1 playoff series in his career. It was against the good Knicks team that, hey, it was close. It could have gone either way. They definitely could have won that series as well. But this is somebody, it's a good rebounder, good passer, great downhill attacker. This guy can finish with contact around the rim. Maybe as good as anybody in this league right now. Definitely as good as anybody that's 24 years old. And he's the franchise player here in Detroit and probably the best franchise player they've had in, it's a while. It's a while. Because, like, if you're looking at a pure individual, I mean, I want to give always credit to the 2014, but, like, I think the reason why they were special, they didn't have, like, a top 10 player in the league. Billups, Hamilton, good players. Wallace's, they were good players, but I don't think they were ever, like, top 10 guys in the league. Billups was maybe there, and you can make an argument for Chauncey Billups. I don't know the 2005 top 10 guys off the top of my head. So, yeah, but you're looking at maybe a younger Grant Hill, Jerry Stackhouse that maybe gets you excited like Cade Cunningham can do right now in Detroit, and maybe it's going to hit one point. It's going to be the most exciting young player they've had since Isaiah Thomas that can actually win you a title. So we'll see one day how far this team will go around Cade. We'll see how they progress throughout the year. Will Asar Thompson continue to look better? Will Isaiah Stewart be this good as a three-point shooter? Will Karis LeVert be this much of a non-factor throughout the course of the year? Definitely things to keep an eye on. I hope you guys did enjoy. Drop a thumbs up if you did. Let me know what you guys think about the 26 Detroit Pistons so far down below. Let me know any other video ideas you guys would like to see here on this channel. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.